The last time I made a tribe tier list was April 28th. I think it's been 2 months, and while I do need to update it, I'm not going to do that right now. Instead, I'm going to be talking about the best teams for every tribe because I've been supposed to have been doing this, but I don't because I forget and I'm lazy. So what I have here is a document of every tribe going from the like sorting order in the tribes. So you have like brave, then mysterious, then tough. We're going in that order. This is not tribe order. So just want to let you know. We have what I think is the optimal team. We have their base HP, which is just like all of this added together, just so you can see how carried they are by Unity. But this doesn't really matter. We have the watch percentage, we have their Unity totals, and then any center traits. And this is the base Unity of just having 5 of the same character. I mean, it's 5 of the same tribe on one team. So every team has this 30. Then we have their total Unity, anything extra for like specific characters like the Megumeans right here, and then their total HP, which is what you see on the team selection menu. This is with their normal limit breaks that you can normally get. So for example, we are not accounting for an LB10 Megumeen. So, and then I just have a picture of the optimal team, what I think is the optimal team. And then we have some additional characters who may be better in certain situations, but usually are just options if you don't have the best team. So, anyways, let's get started with Brave. So first we have Demon God Nate. Demon God Nate is a Brave EX popper with, but he's an AoE, so he's an extreme popper that hits every target but does 1/3 of the damage of a normal extreme popper, but that doesn't really matter. And he has Fever Fill and Unity, so he's very good. He's the extreme popper for the team, allowing us to have combo and take advantage of that whole system of the game. Then we have UZ plus Megumine, who is a UZ plus Brave Fever extender with Fever Fill and either the Konosuba Unity skill or Easy Link, and I think the Konosuba Unity is way better because it buffs not only her, but also her original UZ form, which is a very powerful Soultimate. It basically, the Soultimate counts down, then it fires, does like 900k or something like that. It's probably closer to like 700k now with like normal LBs. And then she's got Revive and Easy Link. Then we have UZ plus Mara, who is a very good damage dealer with an all popper that does more damage if your combo's over 100. And then she's got Drop Big, and popping any large Puni can fill her own Soultimate, so very spammable. And then we have Subaru, who is a Brave Drop Big Unity character, but her Soultimate is an all popper that can crit, which is a pretty bad Soultimate type because it can fail and just do like 30k, which is really bad because normally she does like 200k at least. So their base HP stat is 8,133, with the Megumeans specifically having this much total and then the others having this much. This is just so that way you can calculate on your own. They have a 20% watch. They have Unity in Demon God Nate, another Unity in Subaru. And in total, they have 98% Unity, but the Megumeans specifically get 129% HP. I didn't bother to calculate attack stats because that usually doesn't matter. Like, their team attack doesn't mean anything, so just wanted to point that out. Meaning they have a total HP stat of 17,059. They get this little extra bit because of not only Megumean's actual skill, but also she has a center trait, which is what UZ pluses do. So if they're in the center, they give a little bit extra stats, which is pretty nice. So 17,000 HP plus a revive is pretty good. Other options they have is UZ Mara, who is an extreme popper with after filling Unity, and if you replace UZ plus Mara, then their team HP becomes 18,641. Kind of a lot. If you don't want to use UZ plus Megumine, or you just didn't get her, then UZ Itsuki is pretty good. Is a Fever extender with fast Fever and after fill. So even though she doesn't have a skill to get her own Soultimate because you're waiting for Megumine anyway, it's fine. Then we have Yami Kenma, who is a Brave Triple Z all popper rearranger with Unity and Prefill. So he's a good Unity replacement if you're missing one of these characters. Then we have Earthwalker NOA, who is a tap inflator where popping a size 6 or larger Puni of his can stun the enemy for 2 seconds, which is useless, but he's got Unity, so it's cool. Then we have Yun, who I wouldn't really recommend running, but she's an option. She's an appear less all popper inflate 4 where is it using other Soultimate? I don't know, some sort of skill where she can. I think it might be popping large Puni can get her Soul gauge, or using other Soultimates can get it. I don't know, and I don't really care to check. And then we have Saya, who is an all popper rearranger with Fast Fever and Revive, who's really just like an extra option in case you don't want to run like Megumin or something. But even if you don't want to run Megumin, you should still run UZ plus Megumin, and then you can either have the Easy Link or the Konosuba Unity, and then just bring UZ Mara, and then you have like ridiculous stats. They might have 20,000 HP. I don't know. Probably. Who knows? You can check it yourself. So next up we have Mysterious, and this actually has the upcoming Nyanbo character, and so I don't know their HP stat. It's Orihime Mika, and she's honestly pretty good. So first up we have Salome. It doesn't really matter whether you have Mika or Salome in the center, it's just you want slightly more HP or slightly more attack. And so in calculations, I have Mika in the center because attack is more valuable, usually, because you're not really going to survive anything extra with a little bit extra bit of HP. However, I just had Salome in the picture in the center because it's what I have normally, so. You can see anytime I don't have a character, I just like plop them on the team. So, this guy's not a triple Z. He's a UZ plus. I want you to know that. Anyways, Salome is an EX popper with Link Big and either pre-fill or Ohajiki, but it doesn't really matter which one it is because I have the Ohajiki skill, so we're just going to focus on her having Link Big, and Link Big is very good for an EX popper, so she's pretty good. Then we have Aqua, and I probably shouldn't have to explain what Aqua does because she's like the best character in the game, but she's pretty broken. So she is an all-popper fever extender, which is really good. And then she's got fast fever, and then she has this fever power skill, which is like almost exclusive to her basically. So when you enter fever time, she heals 700 HP, gives herself a 20% attack buff for the duration of fever time, and also for the duration of fever time, her Soultimate is, as this says, 70% like easier to get. So basically, a size 8 Puni gets her G Soultimate no matter what. It's very broken. So she's a very good like spammable damage dealer, and while her damage might be like kind of average nowadays, she's still insanely good because of how easy it is to get her Soultimate. Then we have Orihime Mika. She is an all-popper that does more damage with a combo over 100. With Link Big and linking her Puni can fill her Soultimate gauge. That part doesn't really matter because Link Big is broken. So essentially, she is a nuclear bomb that is spammable. You know Mara and how Mara's really good because she has drop big? Well, now you could just force Mika to be available. And because we have both Okayu and Akane, who are both Soultimate fillers with Unity, it's pretty good. Okayu has pre-fill and Akane has, I think, popping her own large Puni fills other gauges, which is like bad, but Unity's cool. So, but basically, you can EX pop, Fever Extend, Mika, link Mika's, Aquas, and Salome's, use Okayu, use Mika, link some more Mikas, use Salome, use another Mika, link Mika, and then use Akane, and then use another Mika if you can. So it's kind of a lot of damage. So, yeah, pretty good. And they have a base HP stat of 8,465. They only have a 15% launch, but it's whatever. They have 2 unities in Okayu and Akane. And then they have the base 30%, and then the 4% HP from Mika's center skill, giving a total of 97% unity and a total HP stat of 16,676. Yeah, pretty, not as good as Brave, especially since they don't also have a revive, but because they do heal 700 HP, technically they have more HP than Brave until they revive, because they heal 700 HP when they get into fever time, and they can heal more HP if you wanted to, if you can do like double fevers, which is pretty good. If you want to run Moon Asu instead of Aqua, then to, try to like buff up Mika's damage, which would very likely buff up the damage. However, I feel like Asu would just kind of get in the way. So I don't know if it'd be worth it. But he would make the team's HP 17,429, which is pretty decent. So basically, he's a fever extender with fast fever, and he buffs Ginja characters by quite a bit. So 33% HP and 38% attack is pretty nice. However, that's only, what is that? Okay, so if it's 700, then 400 gets to 17,000. The additional 3. This is really only 100 extra HP than what this team has. So It's really just a slight extra damage, and I don't know if it'd even be worth it with how much of a headache Asu can be, so it's up to you. But since you probably won't have Mika, you'll instead be running Arle, who is a Triple Z Unity character, where basically when you enter her Soultimate, you've probably seen me use Arle, but you enter the state where you link a bunch of Puni together, and then once you get like 8 Puni, then you deal like a ton of damage. In certain situations, you can actually out damage Aqua, but Mika out damages both, so you're still going to bring her anyway. And instead of Arle, if you maybe either don't have her or you have, I don't really know why, but maybe you want to make it slightly easier to win with Mysterious, you can bring Beach Natsuwhy, who is a Yuzi Mysterious Inflate 4 with starter ranged, and linking her Puni fills her own Soultimate gauge, just like Mika. I mean, she's good, but Mysterious is like really cracked, so you can kind of just run whoever you want. Like, you can run Anniversary Mika and Moon Asu instead of Salome, and then you have a team stat of 17,975, which is a lot, almost 18,000, which is a lot higher than Braves. Still not factoring the revive, though. And then, as always, you have Blue Sky Helmet Suzaku as an EX popper with guard, and giving the team the chance to do critical hits. Basically, there's like a 28% chance, I think it is, for them to deal 1.5 times more damage, which is pretty good, but since he doesn't have a skill to get his Soultimate up, you kind of have to waste Okayu to get his Soultimate, and then he doesn't really do much damage, and it's kind of luck-based, so he's kind of a pain. So they don't need to anymore. I mean, they haven't needed to for a while, but you can technically, and it would technically give the most damage if he got crits on like everything. Anyways, next up, Tough. I think Tough is the best team in the game. They're kind of ridiculous. So, this isn't even arguably the best team. We'll get into that in a little bit. So we have Future Ren, who is a Fever Fill Unity Fever extender, who has he's pretty good. So basically, a Fever extender to buff damage, he has Tough Unity, so he's very good. Then we have Tamonten Ren, who is a Fast Fever Fill Extreme Popper to get us combo, so it's pretty good. Then we'll skip Yokaiju for a second. Then we have Rem, who is an all popper that once you use her Soultimate the first time, she enters her Oni Awoken form, which increases the damage of her Puni specifically by like 4 times. And there's a little exploit that lets other characters deal like 400k extra damage by popping exclusively her Puni. You go watch my video about it if you haven't. So basically, Rem's really good. Then we have Hangetsu, who is an Inflate 4 with Drop Big and Pop Heal. So basically, she is able to spam herself and slightly heal you every time. And that works perfectly with Yokaiju. Yokaiju is a UZ plus Inflate 4 also with pre-fill, and any 6 or larger Puni has a 60% chance to fill the fever gauge by 45% apparently, which is a lot. So essentially what you can do is use Yokaiju's pre-fill Inflate 4 to get you Rem and whoever else you want. And then if you pop all those Puni, there's a very high chance you're in fever time. So technically, you don't even need Tamonten Ren's Fast Fever, which can let you bring Zero Beyond, who we'll talk about in a second. But basically, you EX pop, do the Rem exploit Fever Extend, and you'll have like 700k damage dealt. Then you just spam Hangetsu's for the rest of fever time. You're slightly refilling the fever gauge, and you're healing. So essentially how most teams get like at most 12 seconds of fever time, Tough gets like 16 seconds of fever time or something like that. It's ridiculous. And they also heal, so they can deal like 4 million damage tribe neutral in like their total amount of HP, which is like way higher than any other team can possibly do. And it's very consistent and easy. So Tough is very much so broken because they can consistently win very easily. And to make that a little bit easier, we have Zero Beyond. Now, Sal's spreadsheet unfortunately doesn't have double Z ranks, so I have to go to this one by Goose. So basically we look up Zero Beyond, and he's from Ultraman, and he is a double Z extreme popper with Unity. So because we don't need the fast fever of Tamonten Ren, we can get the 16% Unity to increase Hangetsu, Yokaiju, and Future Ren's damage by 8%, which is not the biggest deal, but considering, how many Soultimates they're going to be doing, it's kind of insane. So I kind of skipped over their base HP, but they have a base HP stat of 8,137. They have a 15% watch because they would be broken with a 20% watch. Not, I mean, obviously, but like still. They only have one unity with this setup unless you have Zero Beyond. But, they kind of have Rem, who is essentially like 3 unities worth of damage. So it works. And then Hangetsu, who is like 2 unities worth of HP. So it kind of balances out. Meaning, and that, however, they do have Yokaiju's center trait, which is slightly more HP than attack, which is cool. So, my neck like really hurts, and I want to pop it, but I can't because like it physically just won't pop. So, meaning they have a total unity stat of 76. It's not a stat. 76% unity, which is the lowest out of all of these. I'm fairly certain, aside from like one other team, which is like dependent. It like depends and stuff. Actually, they might actually have, no, they don't have slightly higher. The center trait just barely gives Tove a little bit more, meaning they have the lowest HP stat of 14,321. They are the second lowest HP in this entire thing. Like, spoiler, they have the lowest HP, even lower than Eerie. The only thing lower is Enma, and it's by like 200. But thankfully, because they have a revive and they have the healing, it makes up for it. With Zero Beyond, their total is actually 14,953, which only makes them the third. Actually, is Eerie slightly higher? No, they are slightly higher than Eerie. So they are only the third lowest HP stat, but because they have Hangetsu healing and Rem damage and revive, it's fine. Then we have Puppet Gunshin for anyone who doesn't have Yokaiju, and then also minus Gargoyles. They're both tap inflators with Unity and a different thing, Shadow Oni, or I just call him minus Gargoyles. So basically, he is popping any large Puni can fill his Soultimate gauge, and then Puppet Gunshin is using other Soultimates can fill his Soultimate gauge. Then we have Wedding Darkness, who is Soultimate filler, where using other Soultimates can fill her Soultimate gauge, and she has Revive. Now, even though Rem already has Revive, double Revive actually can let you do an additional Soultimate in Fever Time. And because they have Hangetsu to, keep healing, that actually can mean more than one heal. I mean, more than one additional Soultimate after the revive, so. I mean, it could be worth it, but you would probably want to replace, not even replace, you would only be using Wedding Darkness if you don't have Hangetsu, so, yeah. Then we have Jupiter Asu, who is also a Soultimate filler, but has Afterfill and Pre-fill, so not as good as Darkness, mainly because of that revive, but, he's still fine. Then we have Triple OPC, who is just the third tough Unity character. He's a select popper, so his own damage sucks, and he has got drop big, so he kind of gets in the way, but, he was there for a while. Anyways, now we have Charming, which I think is the second best team. Charming has Red and White Elzamekia, who is a pre-fill Soultimate filler with Unity. She's a pretty good, very good, so that's pretty nice. Then we have Yuzi Komaki, who is an Inflate 4, where using her we have, what is it? It's Redrop. She's an Inflate 4 with Unity and Redrop. So, her kit, it kind of sucks aside from the Inflate 4, which is like one of the best ultimates in the game. I don't care. Then, we have Idol Shuka, who is a Fast Fever Fill Fever Extender. There are other Fever Extenders, but we'll talk about them in a little bit. Then we have the two, well, not even the two, we really just have Golden Claws, who is an EX popper with Fever Fill, and he arranges the entire team at the start of a battle, meaning you can essentially always get into Fever Time before taking a hit. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then we have Swirlius Gold, who is a all popper that does more damage with a combo over 100, and he's got 99% pre-fill and fast fever. He's kind of mid. Like, his damage is really good, but like, comparatively to Golden Claws, this guy's like a A tier. Golden Claws is like a S plus. So, and you like, honestly, you don't even really need him. You really just need Golden Claws. So, if I ever do Yoma multis and I get Swirlius Gold instead, I'm gonna be throwing hands. So in total, they have a base HP stat of 8,550, a 20% watch because of course they do. They have 2 unities and a 3% HP from Swirlius Gold center trait, because he gives a little bit more attack, meaning they have a total of 101% unity effectively, meaning they have 17,186 HP. Other options are Iris, who is like ridiculous. This character's nutty. So she is an Inflate 4 with Pop Heal, and using her Soultimate has a 58% chance to heal your team's like 12% of your team's max HP. So if you have like 17,000 HP, you heal like, I don't know, 1,800, which is like more than a counter. So if she can keep spamming herself, she can literally out heal counters, which is ridiculous. Like literally the only bad thing about Iris is that she's a triple Z and they took away LBs because they just hate these characters, but she's still broken because of that heal. So if Charming had a golden, I mean, Yokaiju, they'd be broken. They would be the best in the game. So then we have Yuzi plus Komaki, who I don't like to consider because she looks the exact same as normal Komaki, but you know, some people try to argue against it because like Komaki is, while she doesn't have fast fever, she does 20k more or something, maybe 30k more than Shuka, which is like, who cares? I'd rather be able to see my characters. So if you want something funny for a fever extender, we have Santa Rem, who is a fever extender. We're linking her own Puni, like 4 of them at once, has a 65% chance to inflate surrounding Puni. That's like surround that link by 1. And she can guard, which is like cool. They don't need to guard, but they can. Then we have Queen Blazaria, who is a drop big pre-fill all popper that does more damage with a combo of a 100. She's like, she does less damage than Swirliest Gold, but she's way easier to spam. So it's up to you which one you want to bring. Then we have Halloween Fumihime, who is a Fever Fill EX popper with Afterfill. Way worse than Golden Claws, but whatever. Then we have Natsune, who is a Link Big Afterfill EX popper. So, and she's just a triple Z. So, I mean, those are your EX popper options. And this is the only free-to-play one because they hate us. Then we have Mamarina, who is a Soultimate filler with Guard and popping her own large Puni can fill other Soultimate gauges. So like kind of mid. She's like one of the worst UZ plus in the game, but mainly because Nino is just like really bad because Eerie sucks and her own kit isn't really that good. So like honestly, the only competition is like Nino because Ichika, while she's just bad, at least she has the niche of being a fast fever, so you can use her for like Aqua Strat. You like, there's not really anything you can use Nino for. And just having like a guard character for for like Charming, just use Santa Rem. It's fine. And then we have Ai Haibara and Sasaki, who are both fast fever triple Z unity characters. Ai Haibara is a tap inflator. Sasaki is a all popper rearranger. So cool. And then we have a Charming 2, aka Heartful. So the thing with Heartful is that they deal more damage and have more HP than Charming, but because Charming has that guaranteed starter range, I think Charming's better. But if you want to say Heartful's better because they deal more damage, then like go ahead. So they have Santa Natsuomi, who is just Future Ren, you know, Fever Fill Unity Fever Extender, but for Heartful, which is pretty cool. Then we have Summer Setsuna, who is an all-pomper Soultimate filler with starter ranged and fast fever, so very, very useful for the team to have. Then we have Neko Elzamekia, an all-popper that does more damage with a combo over 100. This is a really good Soultimate type. With 26% Unity, the first and currently only UZ plus Unity character, and it's 26%. And then she's got Fever Fill. So a very powerful, she deals like 500k on this team because we also have Orihime Natsuomi, who is an Inflate 4, a Unity character where using her Soultimate can make any Puni fall large for a little bit, which isn't very good, but it is for Doll Yu, who is a pre-fill extreme popper with that same skill, and basically she can just make everyone have their Soultimate with a little bit of luck. That's very powerful. So essentially, you do Doll Yu, Santa Natsu, Elzamekia, Orihime, Elza, and the boss is dead. Like I'm not joking. That's overkill in all honesty. That's overkill by probably like 200k. Like they are that powerful. So, yeah. They have a base HP stat of 7,885, a 20% watch thanks to this event. Yeah, apparently it's a 20% watch, which is very cool. finally, my Heartful is going to have 5% more HP and deal 2.5% more damage. Let's go. So they have a 20% unity, a 24% unity, and a 26% unity, and 5% from Elsa's center trait, meaning they have the highest unity in the game at 125%. The only, actually no, they have the second highest. The only team that comes like close is low tier shoe version of Slippery. Heartful is the best main team that has the highest unity. So they have a total HP stat of 17,741, which is about 600 almost higher than Charming. So that's cool. Other options are Supernova Asu in case you don't have Elzamekia or Orihime Natsuyomi. He's an Inflate 4 with Fever Fill and Redrop. And he's got a little bit more HP, but a little bit less attack. So he's still really good for like Elsa-less people like me. So then we have Yuzi plus Yotsuba, who is, I mean, usable if you don't want to use Orihime Natsuyomi for some reason. She's another Fever Extender, but she's got Revive and Fever Fill. So that's cool, I guess. Anyway, next up we have Peko, who is another Yuzi plus. And she's got Fast Fever and either Ohajiki damage or Fever Fill, and you would obviously use the Fever Fill if you were going to use her, and she's an Extreme Popper. So if you don't have Doll U, then I guess she's the next best option, but if you don't have Doll U, Pekko's not a good replacement, because that Soultimate filling type stuff that Doll U does is like unreplaceable. So, and then we have plus Jibanyan, ironically enough, is the only Jibanyan UZ for now. So, he's an all-popper Inflate 4 with Pre-Fill and Pop Heal. So, I mean, like, he's usable, but I think Asu's a little bit better because that healing, like, Jibanyan's nowhere near as good at healing as Hangetsu is. So, it's whatever. And then we have Double Z Noelle and Double Z Natsuki Subaru, who are both Unity characters, but Noelle is an all-popper that makes bonus, like, large bonus balls with Fast Fever, and Subaru is an all-popper stunner with Revive. So, like, they replace, like, Orihime Natsu, I'd guess. Then we have Shady My Goats, but not quite as good as Mysterious. So they have Miyabi, who is a Link Big Unity Fever Extender, so very spammable and very powerful. Then they have Black Hole Asu, who was a few events earlier. Yeah. He is a Shady Unity Tap Inflator with Revive, so that's very nice. Then we'll go ahead and skip down to Yashiro. He is a Unity Redrop all-popper that does more damage if your combo is over 128. I thought this was going to be the new standard, but for now he's a one-off, where I think it's more damage, so he's very powerful. Very nice. Then we have Halloween Jane. So the thing with Halloween Jane is she is also like Megumin, but because of a little bit of shady magic, she's given the ability to guard and heals 14% of your max HP 57% of the time. So we'll go ahead and spoil their max HP is 16,188 with perma bonuses that's 17,000, meaning they heal, you know, like 1,700 to 1,800 HP. That's pretty good. Very powerful. She can just out heal a counter and can just guard at any second. That's pretty good. And to help get her Soultimate, we have Lolita Pecora. I was going to say Pecco. Lolita Pecco, which I mean works, but... So she is an EX popper with Drop Big, but also has that Start Big skill, where basically Large Puni can fall at the start of the battle, which can help get bonus balls, or can just straight up help get Large Jane Puni to help get her Soultimate faster. So I like running her. She's pretty good. You also have Yuzi plus Miku and regular Yuzi Miku, who are both the same thing. It's just you want a little bit extra stats. An EX popper with Link Big and Afterfill. So cool. Then we have Kagare Punigami, who is an EX popper with pre-fill and bonus balls, so if you don't want to start big, you can deal with bonus balls, I guess. Then we have Emperor Sapion, in case you don't want to run Jane and you're like psycho like that, like some 1JP player, because he's got starter ranged. Using his Soultimate can make other large Puni fall for a second, which is trash, because he's a Soultimate filler, you know. You need the large Puni before his Soultimate is used, so it's kind of bad. And then we have Boso Hinozal just as a triple Z LB10 drop big Unity Fever Extender, so like more stats, I guess. Cool. Then we have Eri, who I honestly think is the worst team in the game. Yes, even worse than Enma. Because, like, let's talk about it. So they have Arachnus, who is a Soultimate filler with Unity, but he is one of those Mikakunin characters. However, uh, Unity is one of the Mikakunin skills. The other ones are pre-fill and bonus balls. You want to know what his first skill is, which you can't change? Redrop. So essentially in battle, his only skill is redrop. So that's pretty bad. Then we have Taicho Ray, who is a Fast Fever Unity all-popper rearranger. So we have 2 Unity characters, and that's it. So now we have Marine, who is good, I mean, but the rest of her team kind of sucks. So she's a pre-fill EX popper with afterfill, so I mean she does her job well. Then we have Okumo, who is a Fast Fever extender with Revive. So the thing with Okumo is that she has no skill to help get her Soultimate, so she kind of struggles to get it in all honesty. And because Taicho Ray is also a Fast Fever, you really have to do double Fever strats sometimes, and it's kind of a pain. And then we have Mimi Uboyama, who is an all-popper Inflate 4, where using other Soultimates can fill her own Soultimate gauge. And then she's got the Attack Boost skill, where popping a size 4 larger Puni of hers has a 75% chance to boost the team's damage by 2%, going up to a maximum of 40%. That is literally just worse worse Slippery. So they have 7,872 base HP, a 15% launch because they can't have anything nice, and then a 20% Unity, 24%, and then the base 30% for 89% Unity, and a total HP of 14,878 with a Revive. That's really low. Really, really low. Then we have Jingi, and he's a Fever extender with Afterfill and, is a Fever extender. And then we have Clone Black Dragon, who is an all-popper that does more damage with a combo over 100, Fever Fill, and a Dragon Slayer's Unity for 28% HP and 28% attack. So, which only buffs himself and Jingi and Taicho Ray. So, 3 out of 5 characters, meaning they have a base HP stat of 15,693 with that setup, which is almost 1,000 more than this, but because they have a Revive, I think they have more effective HP. So, but I feel like this one does more damage, unless Mimi gets more attack buffs. And then, if you want to, you can run Meteor Asu, who is a Soultimate filler with Fever Fill and Redrop. And then a 4% HP center trait, which sucks. Honestly, Eerie has, barely any options. And none of them are, standout characters. So, they really just suffer. They kind of struggle. They do struggle to beat Tribe Advantage Thrones. That's really sad. Tribe Advantage Thrones. When you deal 10% extra damage and you still struggle to win, that's bad. So I do think Eerie is the worst team in the game. The third worst team in the game is Slippery, which is literally just Eerie but more stats. So they have Snake King Kyra, who is a Fever extender. How the heck did I spell Kyra like that? So they have a Fever Fill, EX Popper with Unity, which is very, very good. Pretty good. And he's got Nyanbo Multiplier Soultimate, so it does a little bit more damage than normal EX Poppers. And then we have Seiryu, who is a popping any large Puni can fill his Soultimate gauge. And Tribe Unity. And he's a Fever extender, so that's pretty cool. Then we have Santa Yu, who is an all-popper rearranger where using any Soultimate can fill her Soultimate gauge. And then Unity. Then we have Mercury Asu, who is just Mimi, but instead of the using other Soultimates can fill her Soultimate gauge. Asu has... It's late, okay? Asu has Redrop. And then we have Yuika. So Yuika, I don't really like her kit, but she does so much damage that, you kind of want to run her because it's both funny and if it goes well, it's pretty good. So she's an all-popper that can crit, which I don't like because it can fail. Then she's got Fever Fill and the HP-based skill. So at max HP, she deals 80% more damage, which you are never going to have her Soultimate ready at max HP. So that's a lie. And then at 50% HP, it's 40% attack, so skills like that, as Sal explains here. But basically, if you do her Soultimate 3 times, you do EX Pop, Fever Extend, Yuika, Asu, hopefully you've gotten some attack buffs with Asu, and then do 2 more Yuikas, they would be able to kill, just like Heartful does. but it is like a much lower chance, and because they don't have that fast fever, it's kind of a pain. I mean, you can run Kegera's Austin, but then you don't have the funny, so yeah. Also, don't question why he's level 69 and why she's level 79, okay? They have a base HP stat of 7,948, a 20% watch because, of course, they have a triple Z unity and then 2 UZ unities, and then they have a total a total unity of 118%, meaning they have a total HP stat of 17,327. So they're not even like the stat team, because like other teams do that better. So Slippery just kind of falling behind, and that's why having having multiple unities doesn't immediately make you the best team in the game, because like Doom posters and stuff. You can run Kegare Zulchton, who is a fever extender with fever fill and fast fever. So if Seiryu isn't your kind of Soultimate you want to use, you can replace Yuika for him. So, and it works pretty well. And we have a low tier Shu, who is a triple Z. Fine, I'll look up his normal name, Kinjitsu. Okay, it's Kill Yourself Shu. He is a fever extender with Link Big and Tribe Unity. They can have a lot of HP. They can have 17,981, which is the highest here. That's a lie, actually, because I'm pretty sure some other team has more, but whatever. The team kind of sucks if you do. You'd replace Yuika, by the way. And if you don't want to run Yuika, you can run Mercury Death. And then he's an all-popper fever, a all-popper Soultimate filler. We're using... No. He's an all-popper Soultimate filler with Drop Big and Fever Fill. So basically, you could just do Kyra, Seiryu, Mercury Death to get Kyra, do Kyra to get Mercury Death, do Mercury Death and get Kyra, and then just keep going like that over and over. So, actually, you would replace Asu, and then you would have like low tier Shu or something for more unity, or Kegare's Ostrom for fast fever. Mercury Death doesn't really get used anymore because Asu can get you more damage, but he's still good. And then finally, we have the Enma team. Enma has Jane, who is a pre-fill redrop EX popper, so like pretty good, but like the rest of her team kind of sucks, so I think we should replace her with a Fever Fill Unity EX popper. So then we have Oni King Enma, who is an all popper fever extender with Fever Fill and Revive, so he gives the team a revive, and that's pretty nice. Then we have Omen Enma, who is an all popper Soultimate filler with Drop Big, and he can have Fever Fill, but the Drop Big is enough. So he does a lot of damage, and he gives them a 13% attack boost, which is almost 7% hold extra damage. So that's pretty nice. Then we have New Year's Kyra, who is a triple Z fever extender with Unity and Fast Fever. He is the only Enma Fast Fever in the entire game. And then you can either run God of Armor Fudoma, who is a pre-fill tap inflator with Unity, or you can run Fudo Boy Gold, who is a all-popper Soultimate filler with Start Big and has a 40% chance to let the team have critical hits. So the thing with Enma is that they win, but it takes like all of their life. So, but comparatively, they can get carried by luck, which is something Eerie cannot do. So, I mean, they can, but it's way less likely than just like letting Fudo Boy Gold let them get crits. So I actually kind of do think Enma is a little bit better than Eerie, because Eerie just sucks. Like, they're just so bad. All because they had to get rid of Sakuchan. Maybe if you would give us a UZ plus Unity, a Fever Fill, Fever Extender Sakuchan, maybe that'd be good. You ever think of that? Anyway. Yeah. They have a base HP stat of 7,451, a 20% watch because they need something in life, 2 triple Z unities, and that is all of the triple Z and higher unities. I'm fairly certain all of their unities are Enma Woken, the double S rank, Fudo Boy, the triple S rank, New Year's Kyra, the triple Z, and God of Armor Fudoma, the triple Z. And that is it. No UZ unity, no UZ plus unity, not even a Z rank or double Z rank unity. It's dumb. So yeah, they kind of need something new. They have a total unity of 90% and a total HP stat of 14,157 plus a revive, the lowest in the entire game. So, yeah, that's kind of it. That's all of the teams, all of their options, their stats, you know, just something interesting. Mainly just so that way you can see what is the best team and what are, like, some options if I don't have, like, the peak team because you probably won't have Mika. So anyway, yeah. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and yeah. Bye.